It played 100%.
Thank you.
In LeBron James coming here.
Thank you.
LeBron James, Los Angeles, is out of the championship business. LeBron James came here for Hollywood. That's why he came here without a team being put together. He just blindly, he never met with anybody else.
5 years ago, LeBron decided to leave Cleveland and take his talents to LA, joining the historical Lakers franchise. Now, him leaving was somewhat anticipated after he lost his 6th NBA Finals. He lost his best player the previous summer, and his contract was coming to an end. After winning Cleveland an NBA championship, unless they brought somebody in major, he really didn't have a reason to stay. Now, even with how great LeBron still was, arguably coming off of his greatest season ever, him joining the Lakers, it was met with some skepticism and weird beef from some Lakers fans, not all. LeBron's Lakers mural repeatedly got vandalized in LA, and most of it seemed to be for the love of Kobe and the previous rivalry him and LeBron had, even though it was never really a true rivalry. Now, fair or not, LeBron joining the Lakers obviously came with a ton of expectations. This man joined the Lakers at 34 off of 8 consecutive finals with some of the most mileage on his legs in the history of the game. And he was still expected to bring a championship or two. He didn't join the Lakers at 28 like Kareem did in the middle of his prime, or like Shaq did at 24 in the middle of his prime, or even to a lesser degree like Pau Gasol did at 27. LeBron's, it was a little different. And unlike the previous 2 teams he joined in free agency, the team wasn't really stacked. The season before LeBron got there, the Lakers were literally tied as the youngest team in the NBA, and that typically means you're pretty bad. Their best players was a 21-year-old Brandon Ingram, a 23-year-old Kyle Kuzma, a 21-year-old Lonzo Ball, and the coach was Luke Walton. Not to mention, this was in the middle of the LeVar Ball era, Magic Johnson briefly being in charge oddly, and the Lakers literally being in their worst drought of their franchise's history. The Lakers had just had 6 consecutive losing seasons. Not only was that the longest streak they've ever had, that was more losing seasons in a row than they had previously before the drought in their franchise's existence. That franchise wasn't used to losing, especially like that, and LeBron was obviously expected to be the savior. Now, even with the Lakers clearly not being a championship roster, LeBron did have him in a pretty solid spot before his injury in his first year. The Lakers on Christmas Day, they were the 4th seed on pace to win 48 games. Basketball Reference preseason odds, they had the Lakers projected to win 48 games. So before he got injured, he was doing as expected. After LeBron's groin injury, really the first significant injury of his career, they lost 11 of their next 17 games. They dropped all the way to the 9th seed, and by the time LeBron came back, they never quite got back that early momentum they built. By the end of the season, Magic Johnson, the president at the time and arguably the greatest Laker ever, he literally quit on them, and the only hope the Lakers really had was landing a major superstar to join LeBron. And obviously they did. Anthony Davis that summer, he pretty much got traded for all the kids the Lakers had at the time, quote unquote, and some draft capital. And to me, where the NBA was at that specific time, it just aligned perfectly for the Lakers and definitely for LeBron and his legacy. The Warriors' crazy dynasty, it came to a halt after Klay Thompson got hurt and they left Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant left the West and ultimately the sport for a year. Super teams had officially died and it was really no predominant favorite. Obviously, advantage LeBron. With LeBron already being there, after they got Anthony Davis, they made little big moves to complement that duo, and it made them a very competent roster. Stealing Danny Green from the Raptors, signing JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard to make them big, opposing, and better defensively, signing Avery Bradley. All these moves panned out, and it made them the dominant team they were. That team started out 24-3, which actually had them on pace to be near the historical 73-9 Warriors. The crazy thing to me is that team wasn't even extremely loaded. They just fit well in their roles, they had a clear identity, and they really prioritized the defensive side of the ball. LeBron led the league in assists for the first time in his career. Anthony Davis led them in scoring. They were top 10 in defensive rating, blocks, steals, opponent field goal percentage, opponent three-point percentage, rebounds, and simply put, they just control games with their size, their defense, and most importantly, their domination on the glass. Now, even though some people, they give this championship an asterisk because it was a 4-month pause and it was in a bubble, I still give them credit because their recipe to success in the regular season, it translated seamlessly in the postseason. They led the entire playoffs in rebound differential. LeBron was top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists. The size and the bodies they had bothered Nikola Jokic. Anthony Davis led the playoffs in plus minus, and they really cruised through the bubble smoothly. LeBron, say what you want, he did it. He stayed true to his promise to Kobe, Lakers Nation, Jeannie Buss, everyone, and he won a championship in the purple and gold. The following season, Rob Pelinka got in his bag and he cooked. Traded streaky Danny Green for Dennis Schroeder off of arguably the best season of his career. Stole Sixth Man of the Year Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers. Signed KCP back. Got Marc Gasol. On paper, the team, they looked stacked, and early on, they played like it. If you remember, this team just got derailed by injuries to their best players. The shortened season mixed with bad luck, it just tainted what possibly could have been another great championship run. Before Anthony Davis hurt his calf, the Lakers, they were second in the West, on pace for a 61-win season. After AD's injuries and the games post his injuries, they were 2 games below 500. A month after Anthony Davis's injury, LeBron, he got injured, and it forced him to miss 27 games, which ultimately resulted in them fighting for their playoff lives. Now we know how this ends. They make the play-in, LeBron hits this magical shot against the Warriors, they meet the Suns, AD gets injured, and LeBron loses in the first round for the first time in his career. This, to me, is where the Lakers franchise and Rob Pelinka specifically, they just panicked in the most LeBron way possible. After that Suns first round defeat, he put pressure on Rob Pelinka to make moves, and regretfully, he did. It was just the wrong ones. They traded a significant amount of their depth away, the depth that really complemented that duo pretty well, for an expensive, terrible fit Russell Westbrook. This is proof of how impulsive and really stupid that move was. From the time they got AD in 2019 all the way up into his calf injury that messed up their 2021 season, they literally had the best record in the NBA in that span. A 99 game sample size, almost 100 games, they dominated the league. They never had to do that. After they traded for Russell Westbrook and they lost all their depth and they lost all their financial flexibility, they relied on players like THT to be significant. They had 8 players on vet minimum contracts, and they literally became one of the most disappointing teams to me in modern NBA history. Now, even through all that chaos, LeBron, he played great individually, second in scoring, the greatest 20th season ever, second highest points per game of his career, 250 pieces, average 30. But the combination of AD regressing, AD missing half the season for his second straight year, the team completely losing their defensive identity, the spacing being terrible after the trade, the Lakers being the oldest team in the league, all that resulted in them being 16 games under 500. What made this so bad is because of how terrible that trade was, it didn't look like it was much light at the end of the tunnel. The Lakers were stuck contractually to a bad fit Russell Westbrook. The only way they can move him is if they added a first round pick or 2 to his name. And it's like the whole league knew it and they were in cahoots. Last summer, the only real moves they could make was changing the coach, putting Russell Westbrook on the bench, getting Lonnie Walker and players like Patrick Beverley. That obviously doesn't really move the needle. In their first 5 games last year, they started out 0-5. At the trade deadline, they were 5 games below 500. This was with Anthony Davis having stretches of phenomenal basketball. LeBron James, specifically after he turned 38, having phenomenal stretches of basketball. Even Russell Westbrook off the bench having very solid stretches of basketball. The fit was just disgusting. At the trade deadline, Rob Pelinka woke up, decided to prioritize now and what's left of this LeBron AD tandem, and made major move after major move after major move and completely reshaped the Lakers season. Rob finally gave up on that 2027 first to move Russ, and they got back D'Angelo Russell from Minnesota. They got Rui Hachimura from Washington. They got Jarrett Vanderbilt to help them defensively with their versatility. They got Malik Beasley to help out with their spacing. All these moves, they just fit perfectly with LeBron and AD. And what also made these moves so dangerous to me is how well Austin Reeves began to play, especially after LeBron got hurt and Russell Westbrook left the team. From LeBron's foot injury in Dallas all the way up until the end of the regular season, look at Austin Reeves' number and specifically his efficiency. This man was insane. Simply put, these trades at the deadline, they worked, and I mean like a charm. Rob Pelinka to me is still the GM of the year. from the day they finally decided to move Russ and that 2027 first round pick. They had the best record in the conference, the best defense in the league. They knocked off the defending champion Warriors, and they made it all the way to the conference finals as a 7th seed. Easily one of the best turnarounds I've ever seen in a season, especially that deep into a regular season, and with arguably their best player LeBron being really injured. After they lost to Denver, yeah, LeBron flirted with retirement, but nobody really believed that. 3 to 4 months later, look at this roster today. Easily the most loaded team of LeBron's Lakers career and arguably of his career in general. So now looking back at this move 5 years later and what LeBron has actually accomplished in the purple and gold, what do you guys think about his time here? Has it been a disappointment, better than you thought it'd be, just as expected? I compared his last 4 years with the Lakers to his 4 years with Miami and his last 4 years with Cleveland, just for perspective. Obviously, I took out that first year because there was no AD, and that was really a trial year. But in my opinion, it's actually been better than I thought. I thought he was done winning championships the moment he left Cleveland. If you guys like this video, comment what do you guys think of LeBron's tenure with the Lakers. They just got Christian Wood, and that really inspired this video because he's really in prime position to win his 5th if they can stay healthy. Make sure you guys follow my social media sites, turn on post notifications, do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.